What's going on, guys? It's Jay from Dirty Boy Tools, here to bring you a Maxpedition Beefy concept kit that could be used to deal with machines that work heavily with pneumatics, meaning air hoses, fittings, cylinders, and of course sensors that would accommodate those pieces. Before I get into it, just remember to punch the like button and hammer the subscribe button. So, like I said, this is a concept kit, something to consider to put in if you're a mechanic or a plumber that deals with pneumatics. Something I just kind of threw together with existing tools, just to get some ideas together. So it is packed out with a lot of things, mostly on this side, because of the design of the Maxpedition Beefy. It can accommodate and hold everything. But I'll take everything out as I go through the tools in the toolkit. I will start with the right side, move on to the left. So, first things first is a 1/4-inch drive ratchet. This is by Tecton. It's got a swivel head in it. I love swivel head ratchets. If it swivels too much, you can always tighten up that screw. And I have here let me push it out, a Gedor. I believe it's Gedor or Jedor. Adapter bit, Swiss company. They make pretty good adapters. I have a couple of them. They do last, and they come in handy. In conjunction with this tool, I have Allen key bits. You might see me use this in a lot of toolkits. In a manufacturing facility, these things come in handy. These are pretty much what most of the bolts you'll encounter will be. Mostly standard, but you will encounter metric as well. Got my Milwaukee Fastback. Self-explanatory. Well-built knife, though. I need to get more Milwaukee tools. I put the Nipex Cobra pliers in here. These are pliers that I don't have much experience with, but I've heard good things, and I can only imagine, putting this around larger fittings, smaller fittings, 3/8-inch, 1/4-inch type fittings, like pneumatic fittings. This will work pretty well. But just based on design, and they're thin enough that if I have to get to like a thin nut that locks it in place, I can loosen that up to free it. My stubby driver, just good to have bits on you no matter where you go, and this is more than capable of many different jobs. This right here is a pneumatic cutter. Pneumatic hose cutter. Just a rubber hose cutter. 1/4-inch hose and smaller it can handle. 3/8-inch it will cut it. It's just not as clean. I am looking to upgrade this to another type of pneumatic hose cutter, but this has been sufficient for me. It's not too often that I have to cut through hoses. Zip ties. You can always use more zip ties. This right here, I'm sorry, I got one thing in the back. So this is a mirror. So comes in handy. It's extendable, so I can figure out what's on the other side or what's under something, or just gives me a good angle to look at things. Over here we got a Mitutoyo machinist scale ruler. I think at least on the standard side, it will break it down into 1/64 of an inch. It does require some good eyesight to read it, though, and a little bit of concentration, but it does come in handy. So over here I got an oiler pen. This is actually one of my new tools. So I have to still fill it, but basically the plan would be to put in light air motor oil inside the top of the cap and fill it up, and then throw this back on carefully, of course, and I'd have access to oil. And it is a precision dropper, which is good, but I'll be honest, I don't always put oil on with precision. Sometimes I go a little crazy with the oil. So these two tools in the same pocket. So Titan 7-inch pry bar, 7 or 8-inch pry bar. you know, comes in handy. This is my awl. This is what I would use to punch valves to test out pneumatic mechanics, things like that. It'd be very helpful. I got a simple 8-inch pipe wrench here. I'd have to obviously bring it down all the way in order for it to fit inside the kit. But if I want to take off a fitting or anything like that, usually when I'm taking a fitting off, it's broken, so I don't really care how it comes off. So I can make this as tight as I want, twist it off, and then handle the fixes from there. So this is another ratchet. There's a little bit of redundancy in this kit. It's the Engineer DR55 mini offset ratchet, made in Japan. So you basically can reverse which way you want to ratchet with this little red switch here. Very thin ratchet, probably the thinnest one I've encountered. Comes with the Phillips bit, but you can put the hex bits in there. You can put the bits from a driver in there, and it'll just let you reach into hard places. Pretty cool driver to have if you do have a Knipex pouch or mini pouch. I've seen this as a great addition to that pouch. Very cool little gadget. Don't use it every day, but it's one of those tools that when you arrive across a tough situation, you're happy to have it. Another new tool I got today, my PB Swiss precision driver. This would be what I use to just deal with sensors. Let's say I have a cylinder and it has two sensors mounted to it, and the cylinder's going up, but the sensor's not going off. A machine is going to fault out. So maybe the sensor's moved out of place. Maybe over time dust got in between the sensor and the cylinder. So, you know, just making an adjustment, moving up and down and centering it again. This would be helpful for that type of issue. Bit extender, wouldn't need to use this for the screwdriver, but would help with my ratchet in case I need to reach down and still get torque. This and this together should be enough to provide me with what I need. So going with a 6-inch Fujiya wrench. I think I've said before, a lot of Fujiya's tools, I think they're geared a little bit more towards plumbing work, and you can see that in the design. I would trust a 6-inch crescent if I had bolts and I need to rip those bolts out. But in the case of ripping out fittings, this would be a good option if I choose to use it. Also, what I found is, I don't know the purpose of these little ridges here. I'm not sure what they are, but I found that if I have a pneumatic hose that's connected to a quick connect fitting, sometimes those fittings are old and you can't quite push them down to release the hose because it grabs onto the hose with a shark bite, similar to like a push connect chuck. So I would take this, make it the width of the hose, probably a little tighter than the hose, so that these two edges would line up on the quick connect, and I could push down without hurting my thumbs, fingers, and then I could pull the hose out. Comes in handy for those situations. And also I can, because of the long jaws, it would be advantageous to grab fittings that are in bad places. It would be disadvantageous for, you know, a set bolt that's kind of rusted and sealed in. Irwin tin snips, 7-inch. You know, good to have cutters, especially a cutter with this much power on it. I've actually cut through, I think, 30, maybe 20 thousandths thick shims before with this. I'm not going to say it was no problem. I did have to, you know, put some force into it, but it did the job. And some very good pliers. These are the Knipex twin grip pliers. They have the screw extraction feature. This is a feature that needs to be in more pliers. Very helpful, very useful. Plus the twin grips, they have a lot of 5 different settings, so they'll lock into place and not your ordinary slip joints. Good for jobs like where you need to go wider and shorter. Not great for quick jobs. You know, another pair of slip joints, I could just slip it big. Okay, I got a bigger size. Okay, got a smaller size. So not good for quick jobs, but they are good if you want to work with precision and you want to be clean about it. Highly raved about pliers. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about these pliers. They really are great. I just wish they would make them in different sizes besides the 8-inch size. I would like a 6-inch for these as well, but you know, I can only wish. And that is everything in my kit. Once again, this is a concept kit to help with pneumatics, cylinders, sensors. If you have a machine that has all those components in it and the cylinders got to move up and down, and you have a lot of different cylinders and they're all going in this, you know, on one transfer area, things can get a little hectic. Fittings can break, hoses can get cut, sensors can get shaken out of place. This kit is kind of loaded, but it should give you all the tools you need to deal with that type of situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have worked with pneumatics, cylinders, things like that, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear what you think would work better or worse in this kit. Yeah, let me know.